Okay.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Okay. I have to survive the sinking of the Titanic, and I have to watch historic travels while doing that.
Another one.
But I've also thrown in some.
Okay.
You guys liked it so much last time, so I thought.
Hey, that's where the water's coming in. Ow, ow, I'm freezing.
I'm here. I have to suffer through all
Oh,
this
shoot.
They're funny.
Well,
I guess.
we're,
And thank you for all my new
filling
subscribers,
up with
and
water.
Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Alright,
Historic travels is just crazy.
what are you going to do with your time off? Probably just take time.
Relaxing on a cruise somewhere. Me on a cruise. This is for Titanic shooting a gun at an iceberg. Okay.
This is for Titanic.
Okay. I'm not sure what that would do, but okay. And you know that's not the same iceberg that sunk the Titanic, right? You know it melted a long time ago. So
They're all the same ice.
that's debatable.
Honestly, that's kind of neat.
You do that.
Yeah. Brace yourselves.
That's crazy, bro.
Is that a Game of Thrones reference?
Yeah, but I'm like, that was good for like the beginning of this month because I feel like there was tons of Titanic stuff coming out.
Sorry about my finger constantly moving through the camera.
Because I love you. The F word is the problem.
Honestly,
I get it because there is room for Jack on the door.
well, and like
It's
those
so
lifeboats,
gross,
why
yeah.
didn't they pile everybody up on the lifeboats like they did in that picture? You know, just like cram them all
Oh
on
no,
there.
that's very different. Those lifeboats could not hold it; they would sink.
Oh, really?
Those lifeboats could not hold all those people in there. There's no way. That's a much bigger raft, and you can tell there's more like structure to it. It's sitting higher up out of the water, even with all this. There's no way. There was one lifeboat that actually got so overloaded that it was so low in the water, if you just reach your hand over the side, you would touch the water. Like that's how low it was.
So it was pretty packed.
It was overcrowded. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that is impossible.
Like if they wouldn't let you on a lifeboat, what would you do? Would you just be like, I'm gonna die, or?
I'd probably follow the role of Charles Yelkin and just go get a bunch of alcohol and chill. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
How is
I'm
that
totally kidding.
possible?
I'm totally kidding. I would probably try to make a raft. Get a door. Figure out some way
That's
to.
why I would put like a life vest under like a door.
You need a lot of life vests, but yeah, put a bunch under there and jury rig something. But I have to joke about Charles Yelkin now because he's kind of the joke in the Historic Travels channel. So I would not go drinking. I'm just making that clear. I would not do that. I would try to survive.
Hit the like button if you would go drinking and try to survive like Charles. What was his name?
Charles Yelkin.
Okay, this is crazy.
How much he drank.
Apparently, he cleaned out the ship's pantry, and he was actually in one of the
Charles
sections of the
Yelkin
ship,
filled
that
up
was
the
in right around
cleaned
here,
out the
right around
ship's
third
pantry?
bottom, Titanic broke in half, and he was around this area getting a drink, and he said
I'm
the
dying
stern-
if I don't get out.
Not yet, but the stern was starting to rise, and he could hear the structure of the stern
Okay, that's crazy.
and crunch and break. He's like, okay, it's time for me to get out of here, and then he headed up to the stern. So,
Did he jump for it?
Okay,
in
I'm
his
here.
words, he just stepped off the ship right as the stern was going under and didn't even get his hair wet. I don't know if I believe that or not, but
Doesn't it suction?
not really. Not really. I mean, the only real suction you would have is if there was like an open window or porthole and there was air in there.
Yeah.
That could pull you down. There may be some
Okay.
momentum pulling you down, but it's not like
I was there for a little bit.
Like a whirlpool.
Yeah. He just said the stern broke.
Okay. Go on. Okay. While I'm waiting for the ship to sink,
Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Sam from Historic Travels and welcome to this video. And as always, before we get started today, I'd just like to take a quick moment to welcome all my new subs and to thank everybody who's been leaving me comments and messages down below. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it.
I'm stepping off the ship. I don't know if that's a good way.
Steps to help support the channel a little bit more. There's a merch store and a Patreon for this channel in the links below. Thank you all so much for all your support. Now guys, before we begin today's video, I do have a few quick announcements for you. Number one, I do have a Titanic video planned for you guys today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. This was definitely a very interesting topic to research.
Yeah.
And then as far as when I'm going to be continuing the Lusitania timeline
Time to
series,
lower her, bro.
and when is the video on the Endurance going to come out, well, here's my plan. So I've got the Titanic video planned for you guys today. The next video will be the next episode of the Lusitania timeline series. And then after that, I think what I'm going to do with the Endurance is just make one long dedicated video just with the story of the Endurance and the Shackleton expedition. So that's my plan for that. And, okay, so now that that's out of the way, I do have another very cool announcement, or maybe I should say I have something very cool and interesting that I want to show you guys before we begin today's real video. Now, just in case you all missed my last mail time episode, one of the things that happened in that video is that two fans of my channel,
I gotta turn off the camera, it's annoying me.
they sent me this unbelievable handmade and hand-painted White Star Line sign. And just the build quality and detail of this sign was so unbelievable that I had to mention it in my mail time episode. And believe it or not, they do have their own online store where you can go and purchase one of these signs yourself. And now, the reason I'm mentioning this again in this video, and you just heard that sign off against the table, but the reason I'm mentioning this again is because they just sent me their newest design. They just made this unbelievable handmade and hand-painted custom.
No, I don't want to be a captain.
Once again, just like the White Star Line sign, the level of detail.
I just want to lower down these lifeboats.
Unbelievable. I don't know if you can see the video, but they even have the whistle on the funnel for the canard line funnel. I mean, this sign is just unbelievable. And just like the White Star Line sign, you can purchase this sign yourself. So, hey, listen, guys, thank you so much for sending me this sign. Both of these signs, they're just unbelievable. And if any of you out there would like to take a look at these signs and maybe purchase one for yourself, I will include a link to their online store in the description below. All right, guys, well, hey, with that out of the way, let's now begin today's official
Lower it
For
away.
today's video, I want to try to answer a question about the sinking of the
Oh,
Titanic
yeah.
itself.
There's a
This is
story,
question that many who have studied the sinking of the Titanic
where
have often
this
wondered
woman
about.
refused
The
to get
question
into
that
a
I'm going to try
lifeboat,
to answer
and a
has to do with the
officer
Titanic's
threw
Grand
her
Staircase. This
threw
iconic
her
room
into
is
the
arguably
lifeboat
the most
and
recognizable
broke her
room on board the
ribs.
Titanic. I mean, with the wood paneling,
Oh, look,
the
there's still ice
beautiful
on
glass
deck.
dome overhead. I mean, honestly, no other room screams Titanic like this room in particular. Now, the question that I'm going to attempt to answer about this room is, did this room actually flood the way it was depicted in the James Cameron movie? In case you don't know, in the James Cameron film, the way that they have depicted the sinking of the Grand Staircase is that water slowly comes up down the corridor on A deck, reaches the base of the Grand Staircase, surrounds it, and then, as the Titanic's boat deck goes underwater, once the part of the boat deck that houses the Grand Staircase went under, then the Grand Staircase dome implodes, and tons of seawater begin to flood inside the Grand Staircase. So, my question
This is
is,
seaworthy.
did this really happen, or was this something that...
Oh, shoot. Okay,
Hollywood
never mind.
film?
This is not
Now, you're probably
seaworthy.
thinking, this couldn't be that difficult of a question to answer, right?
She is literally filling up.
Survivor testimony into the sinking of the Titanic, find somebody who was within the Grand Staircase at the time that it was flooding, and then based on their testimony, we can say if or if not the Grand Staircase actually flooded the way we see in the James Cameron film, right? Well,
This is an
actually, it's not quite
iceberg.
that simple. This is because there were no survivors who were within the Grand Staircase at the time it was flooding and lived to tell about it. This is mostly because that in order for somebody to have been at the right place at the right time to see the Grand Staircase flood, by the time that all of this stuff happened, there would have been no way for them to escape that room alive. Because, in case you don't know, this is a model of the Titanic, and the Grand Staircase was in between the first and second funnel. And that big glass dome that you see in that video, well, it was housed within this rectangular structure right here. So that means, in order to have the Grand Staircase dome implode, like we see in the James Cameron film, the water would have had to come all the way up the Titanic's boat deck and cover this rectangular structure. So the ship would have been roughly in this position as the Grand Staircase dome imploded. So, as you can see, there is no way anybody could have been within the Grand Staircase when this event happened and lived to tell the tale. However, even though there is no testimony from anybody
Okay,
who was
I gotta
within the Grand
reset
Staircase
myself.
as it was flooding to tell us what happened within it, there is the testimony of one person who just may be able to shed some light on what happened to the Grand
Let's
Staircase
go into the
as it went
bridge so
underwater.
that I can
This
lower
is
one of
because
those
even though he wasn't inside of
emergency
the Grand
lifeboat
Staircase,
launched.
due to his position on the Titanic's
I
deck,
wanted to
as
be
the
a
ship was
hero.
going down, what he experienced may help shed some light on what happened as the Grand Staircase went underwater. The person I am referring to is this man, Archibald Gracie. Archibald Gracie was a first-class passenger on board the RMS Titanic. And
Hold
spent
it right
most of the time that the Titanic was
Lower
sinking assisting
away.
the Titanic's officers with the evacuation of the ship. Now, Archibald Gracie would end up surviving the sinking of the Titanic, and based on his testimony and his location on the Titanic's deck as the final plunge began, His testimony may be the key to help answer the question of what happened to the Titanic's
Okay,
staircase
lower her
during
way.
the Titanic's final moments. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Gracie's story, I'm going to give you the quick version real quick. According to the story, Gracie was working at the very front of the Titanic's deck during the final stages of the sinking,
I'm gonna
trying
need
to
to
help
watch this
one of the
one.
Titanic's officers get one of the last two collapsible boats launched from the Titanic before the Titanic sank. And then, according to the story, Gracie said that a huge wave showed up and attempted to wash him overboard. So what Gracie did was he grabbed onto a railing on the Titanic's deck and then held onto this railing.
I'm gonna try to lower a lot of light boats here.
However, what Gracie didn't realize was that this particular railing that he was hanging onto was now on a submerged part of the Titanic's deck. So basically what happened was Gracie grabbed onto this railing, and then as the
Okay, so the bow is flooding.
and then instead of letting go of this railing and swimming up to the surface,
We gotta hurry and lower these emergency
he felt
lifeboats.
this huge suction pulling him down, and he said he was under.
Ready?
Oh god!
Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we're here with the Titanic historian.
Historic Travels.
aka Historic Travel.
Or Sam.
Or Sam. And we're going to do a Titanic meme review. So I thought I'd get some input because I think
I didn't even know he was worth thinking about.
and we're going to see
Huh?
Okay, so the first one. If Karen was on the Titanic, you can't make me wear a vest. I feel like people would be like that nowadays.
Yeah, they would.
It's sad but true.
They would definitely probably.
But you know, hey, Karen, good luck out there.
Who's Karen?
I don't know.
If the Titanic really hit an iceberg, then how come no pieces of the iceberg were ever found in the wreckage?
Why?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
You know, I really do think people would do that. Really big conspiracy theorists.
That's pretty good.
That is a good one. If the Titanic sunk in 2016, sorry sir, women and children first. Did you just assume my gender? Oh my gosh.
I think that's still happening in 2021, not 2016.
Oh boy.
Can you imagine if that did happen?
No comment on that one.
If the Titanic sank today,
Only
old people and non-swimmers are dying. Seriously, the stern is perfectly dry. Hi, the airplane is tomorrow. Ridiculous. I can sleep for all night. They can't keep me here. I'm going
Okay.
back.
So this lifeboat is almost lowered, and then we can get onto that one, and then that one. And then go to the stern, and then kind of lower those.
Yeah, that's a good one. My grandpa told me that he got to see the Titanic, and that from the beginning he told them not to get on board because he knew it was going to sink, but no one listened. And he repeatedly told them until the minute he got kicked out of the movie theater. Okay, that's a good one.
They had me there.
That is a good one.
iPhone 6 and iPhone 7. Where's Jack?
Oh my.
That was pretty good.
For those of you who don't know, or you're too young to remember the iPhone 6 and 7,
Okay.
that's when they got rid of the headphone jack.
I still have an iPhone 6. And I love the Jack. World right now. Beamer. Yeah, that was pretty much 2020.
Yeah.
Like